TV.
Morning at NTV. We're live from Kampala, Serena Conference Center, and it's very, very gratifying. Now, I'll go a little bit on the digital platforms. I want to send shouts out to Jocks Derrick. You said I should equally send out the shouts out to Liverpool. If you know you support Manchester United and Liverpool, the weekend was very painful. We feel your pain. The same applies to Claire Nabukeda. Those who are already awake and you're watching NTV from the different world where you're watching from online, offline, we want to say thank you so much. Now, going in TechNote, from the day the People Power team took on the leadership of the National Unity Platform, the party has been in crosshairs, if I should say, in quotes, and on the ground. However, analysts predicted that that would break the party, would be the selection process for the flag bearers. And the party is now fighting to keep the losers in the fold and the ones who are given the card to make sure they stay in that direction of the party. Now, to speak to us about this and more, we will be having Sarah Bireta later, the Executive Director of Center for Constitutional Governance. And joining us this early morning, we have Shamim Malende, a lawyer for the National Unity Platform, who is also an aspirant for Kampala Woman Member of Parliament. Good morning, Shamim.
Good morning.
Well, for starters, I'm very honored to have women join this political lane. In the recent past, we had, if it was a lawyer for a party, we will have a man here talking. So it was more like a patriarchal kind of setup. Now, coming forward to 2021, we have women like you, we have Sarah Bireta and the likes in the political center at the core,
Yes.
making sure that we get the change we have. For starters, how are you holding up in NUP? As you're having these, should I call it the vetting process?
Yes. Wow, like you have already explained to the viewers and everyone, you know, we're trying to handle so many things at a go. But as you know, the party is trying to battle a case in court, but we're sure that victory is going to be on our side. But still we have to go on with the vetting process. Again, the candidates are doing their groundwork. So we are trying to just patch up and catch everything all together. We are trying to hold everything together so that we can push everything together and then we can move forward.
We saw this issue of Chibalema coming
Yes.
up a few 2 weeks ago, and did this in one or the other shake the confidence of your people in some lanes where they were not sure if the party they subscribe to is going to literally allow them to be on the ballot, or did it affect your grids?
I think it's not about you know affecting the confidence of the people that subscribe to the People Power Movement or the National Unity Platform. You know, Ugandans expected this. They expected that, you know, there's going to be some, you know, charges being brought here and there, you know, cases being, you know, cooked up, you know. So this was expected. The Ugandans expected that, you know, this National Unity Platform, Mr. Chibalama may face some, you know, intimidation and maybe some arresting from the government officials and the people who are in the regime. So it did not come as a surprise to the people. Of course, some people had their worries and reservations, but they know that at the end of the day, this is all more political than legal. So that's where they get the confidence from. They know that this is just one of those other, you know, trumped up charges, trumped up cases that have been cooked up, you know, to shake
the party.
Yeah, but they are confident that it's going to be there and it's still there.
Well, coming back to you, Shamim, how are the campaigns going? Especially that we are in a virtual approach, virtual campaign. How are you holding up on the ground?
You know, we're just using all kinds of means to see that we reach out to our people. You know, we're using all the platforms. We're using the media. We're using the door-to-door. You know, we're using, you know, the concept, the gospel of unity, because we are saying that, you know, we are inclusive, irrespective of the political parties that we are subscribed to. So our major
is that what they call the rubber dub style? I really need to get acquainted to that, because every person who comes here from NUP says our approach is the rubber dub style, and I don't know what it is. Please bring us to speed. What does it entail? No,
I'm not going to break it down for you. Because,
but it's one of the approaches.
Yeah, it's one of the approaches. We have the Fifite Chido. We have a lot of it. So But we are not going to break down all these approaches because, you know, we are keeping some of these things to ourselves.
Oh,
you
yes,
know,
absolutely.
we are engaging the covert style, we're engaging the covert style so that we can actually, you know, take over power in 2021. So some of the issues we shall not
give to the media.
Yeah, we shall not give to the media.
Running for a position where there is no incumbent seems to be very easy for where I stand, because I mean there is no incumbent, so I mean it's your manifesto, it's what you're telling us to run. Is it that easy to convince the women in Kampala?
No, it's not about convincing the women. Actually, it's not only the women that vote us, because you know everyone votes us as long as you're above 18.
Yes.
Even if you're male, you vote for us. But it's not about convincing, but it's the public entrusting their confidence in you. And they say that this person has the public confidence, and this is a person that will serve us, this is a person that will stick to the values of NUP, this is the person that will speak our voice, this is a person that will be our servant, that is going to get into a leadership position and serve us. So it's about the people to judge. It's not you to convince them, I'm the best, I did this, I did this. It's not about that, because in NUP we believe that actions speak more than words.
Talking about action,
Yes.
what affirmative actions do we need in Kampala to see the change you want in our city?
No, first and foremost, it's the people of Kampala and then the voters.
Do we need to
particular-
change?
No, to understand,
Okay.
you know, what they want to know that first and foremost they need to regain their power. So they exercise their voting rights. So for us, it's more to do with voter sensitization, knowing, you know, their power, exercising
Shamim,
their
a little
power.
bit there. You're speed bumping me.
Yes,
To regain their power.
yes.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that the voters, it's about sensitizing them to know that the power is in their hands, to vote the leaders that they want, then bring those leaders into the leadership positions, and then they must see that this leader that they are selecting or they are voting for is a person that is going to serve them as they are, like when they are the leaders and is the servant, that concept of servant leadership.
Okay.
So it's about the voters to exercise their power to vote and to weigh all the candidates and see that this is the best candidate. And as we speak right now, you know that the People Power Movement or the National Unity Platform, everyone, every voter, not even in Kampala but Uganda at large, and even in the diaspora, they understand what NUP is about. They understand that now this is the vehicle that's taking us to the change that we need. This is a vehicle that's inclusive of everyone. That's why you'll see that even in our selection exercise, you'll see that some people are NRM, but they have got
NUP cards.
Yes, NUP cards. When
About the vetting process of NUP, one of the key factors, if I may quote Lewis on one media house, he said, we are looking at the loyalty to the struggle. We are looking at how loyal you've been to the NUP in the struggle we have had before.
Yes.
Is this just one of the few elements that one should be considered before giving a card?
Yeah, that's...
Or are we looking at someone who is grounded on the ground and has the numbers and can deliver?
No, it's a mixture of all that. It's not just one thing. You know, loyalty is very important. First,
Indeed.
to the struggle. Yeah, whether you are in NUP, whether you're in DP, whether you're in NR, but that loyalty to the struggle for change in Uganda is very key. Then loyalty to the values of the party is very important also, because okay, I'll not explain more, but then I'll go to the issue of the ground check, because the ground check is equally important, because we have to see what the people on ground are saying about what they are talking about, whether they have confidence in you that you'll deliver. Because politics at the end of the day, victory is about numbers, you know. So we may actually have so many good candidates, but at the end of the day, the marks, who scores higher than the other. So the ground check is also very important, because we hear the voice of the people. We hear the, you know.
So does NUP go on ground and tell me, say, Andrew Chamagero is vying for this position. He has given us his credentials. And we have another person, maybe Patrick Mukasa, equally wants the same position. So how do we judge of the two who is stronger? If we have all been in the struggle, if you have all gone past the pedigree of the loyalty and you have been there, and we're both vying for the same position.
You know, there are so many factors and so many reasons. Apart from the loyalty to the struggle, the loyalty to the values of the party, the ground check when it's positive, you have so many other factors. The visibility, then, you know, the capacity to manage the campaign. Then, you know, we even have the constitutional ones, the requirements. You must be, you must fit within that. You must have the academic credentials. There's so much. But at the end of the day, like I said, the marks are given accordingly, and the one that scores higher is the one that is given the party card. So the factors are so many. But at the end of the day, the rating is the same. It doesn't matter whether you're a member of parliament, whether you're an incumbent, or whether you're, at the end of the day, they'll still do ground check. Yeah? Then they'll still look at your loyalty to the party and the loyalty to the struggle.
And how do we cross the bridge?
But again, before you go there, we're also looking at, you know, people who have occupied positions for, you know, more than 10 years. And we're saying,
you've given them the cards.
And we are saying that, no, but we are also considering that most of these people that have occupied these positions beyond, you know, the 2 terms, like we are saying, we sit them down, and we're also trying to say, yes, you're good, you could be good, but what if we give the chance to another person, you know, as a way of engaging, because this is the gospel that we are preaching. We want peaceful transition of power at all levels. So that is one of the things that we are looking at.
Are these,
so actually, you'll be very surprised that some of the candidates or some of the people that you were saying that this one NUP should not even put a candidate, but they have put, but that could be the factor.
Do we have these, you know, former MPs who have been there for 10 years or 2 terms? Are they complying? Are they saying, well, we're going to follow what NUP says because we understand the ideology? Are they not coming on independent?
You know, compliance is about one's character, one's, you know, integrity, and the way they look at things. So compliance is not all about whether someone is a member of parliament or a nobody. Yeah. So for us, we are saying we have to say what is right. We have to preach what is right. Yeah. And then our role, or your role as an aspiring candidate, is to see that, you know, these are the 2 positions that have been put here. What if I'm not a successful candidate? I can choose either to join the forces of the person that is going to hold the flag and then campaign with that person so that we can have victory. Or you can choose to say, I'll go independent. We cannot stop you because, you know, you have your constitutional right. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we want the candidates and everyone to look at a bigger picture.
Let's come back.
A bigger picture of Uganda.
Coming back with all the selections that are made,
Yes.
there are a lot of grievances going on. People grumbling. There is a lot online. I was watching Aganaga the other day, and he was spitting venom. I watched other people. Everyone seems to be agitated. There was a lot of soft impotence where people felt they were entitled to get, but for some reason or two, NUP chose not to give them that. So after these, what does NUP have to best way to make sure that we mend fences? Yes, I could be clashed, my ego, my expectations or aspiration as someone, and here I am, a committee decides my career in politics that you're not going to run, but I still believe in the ideology of NUP. What is NUP doing to make sure that you don't lose such people, but they stay consolidated in the party?
Yeah, I think there are so many things that are being done, but mostly we have concentrated on engaging with these people, because we know that they have also rare qualities or qualities that can help in this struggle. So basically what we do, we try to sit them down, you know, the person that has been given the flag and the person who has not been given the flag, and even all other contestants, and then we sit them down to engage and see whether we can work together. And if we cannot work together, at least we see what other role can they play within the party. Yeah, and then how best can they bring their resources and other things to assist, basically generally in the bigger struggle for Uganda. So we are looking at all that. There are so many things that are going on behind the curtains. Yeah, so many activities are going on. So we are trying to do that. That is
losers are in fold, keeping them in fold.
Yeah, but again, it's not that NUP is deciding your career in politics.
This committee is deciding my career here.
No, it's not, because the committee is simply saying we have vetted you, but fine, you're good, but someone is better. Why don't you look at the look at the bigger picture? We work together, we still move together. We're not chasing you out of politics, but you know, maybe next time you'll have an opportunity. Maybe even before next time, but for now you can do this and that. So we are looking at all that. The best thing is to keep together. But again, let me also say this. We are also cautioning all people who come and think that, you know, they have a sense of self-entitlement, that, you know, I have been an artist.
I've been with Bobby Wine for 15 years and all that.
As a friend. We used to eat Chikomando together down there before. You know, there are people who come with that, and we respect that. But we are saying, you know, this is Uganda, this is a whole government. So when the vetting is going on, it's beyond Bobby Wine. It's about the people of Uganda. It's about the whole world. So we are saying that, you know, let's put all that aside and look at credibility. We look at the credentials. At the time, we look at the people that are actually going to put the agenda forward. And maybe there's other people that are also good, but we can help to push the agenda together in one way or the other. It's not about occupying a political position. Leadership is in so many aspects. Yeah, so they can provide leadership even in all other aspects apart from a leadership position.
Well, there you have it. It's Morning at NTV. It's Shamim Malende vying for the Woman Member of Parliament for Kampala. She comes from NUP, the party, and there are a lot of issues going on in the NUP, but we believe that we're finding lasting solutions. She's trying to take us through and to catch up with this. The conversation is Morning at NTV. I'll take a break and I'll be back shortly.
You're watching Morning at NTV. News is breaking all the time. At all the time you want to be in the know. Wherever you are across Uganda and around the world, NTV has all the news covered for you.
Welcome to NTV Tonight. I'm Arnold Segawa.
For credible, reliable and comprehensive news delivered to you first and fast, tune in to NTV.
Welcome to NTV Tonight.
Watch NTV Tonight daily at 9 p.m.
The COVID-19 pandemic closed education institutions in Uganda since March 21st, 2020. A few schools and students have been able to adopt to digital technologies for continued learning, but the majority of the students have been left behind. This is more pronounced in rural schools where such options of remote learning are not available. Additionally, many teachers in Uganda may not have the skills or tools to conduct lessons. This brings to light significant questions like, how can we leverage digital technology to be better prepared to ensure continued learning in case of future crises? How prepared are we to apply digital learning to address some of the most pertinent issues in education? What have we learned about applying digital solutions in education? And how can we use these lessons beyond COVID-19? As we prepare to celebrate the World Teachers' Day on October 5th, 2020, under the theme Teachers Leading in Crises and Reimagining the Future. Join us this Monday, October 5th, 2020 at 11 a.m. in a 2-hour live talk show on NTV as we discuss digital learning in times of crises. The role of teacher in ensuring effective teaching and learning continues to take place during and after the crisis. Panelists include Dr. Janet Gao, Director, Higher Education and Technical Vocational Training Institutions, Mr. Philbert Baguma, Secretary General, Uganda National Teachers Union, Ms. Rosie Agoy, Secretary General, Uganda National Commission of UNESCO. And on Zoom, we have His Excellency Rosa Malango, UN Resident Coordinator and Designated Official for Security, Gloria Akatukunda, Lecturer ICT, National Teachers College Kabali, Chris Lucolio, Digital Country Lead, UNCDF. This show is sponsored by UNESCO and UNCDF in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Sports.
There is a place very far from this world, and the only way you can get there is through music. Remember, only music can set you free.
One for the party, two for the money. Bum 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 bum.
The beat.
Tetema, yani kama umepigwa shot.
TV NTV's hottest stage. With the freshest names in the game. Fresh music. With your hosts Linda Dane, Sammy Watala, and Daggy Nice. Catch NTV The Beat every weekday at 5 p.m. We are NTV The Beat, and we turn on your musical world. You're watching Morning at NTV.
It's still Morning at NTV, and we are live from Kampala Serena Conference Center. Those watching from here to around the world, we want to thank you so much. Our YouTube channel, it's NTV Uganda, and on Facebook, it's NTV Uganda. On Twitter, it's still the hashtag Morning at NTV. Considering the submissions we've had, we have had some feedback. This came in from a lady. Okay, I'm not sure that it's a lady or a man. It's saying that it's Ashley Beats. This person says, okay, this person loves you and believes in the ideology of whatever you're saying. Then there is another person here, Okum Okot from Padel District, says, good morning at NTV. I love what NUP is doing, but why is it only that side? Can we have these at regional scale? I think here's an issue here. Could we have these vetting committees, just saying, from the regions, like the north, the east, and then they just send those people to the center or the headquarters, and you do that? That is from Palace. I think here's something we could post and ponder about.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good thing, but what I can say for now is that, you know, NUP being a new party, first it was centralized, but again there are also some areas where the materials have now gone, have been distributed, and then the vetting, and then the vetting process happens there, and then the equipments and the documents are sent there, and then the vetting process is done. But again, we are more centralized here. So, but that is an issue that is being considered by the executive to see that it's spread all over the country.
Oh, okay.
So he has a concern that is being considered.
Someone
Only that, maybe before you go further, is that I just want to arrest his fears, partly that, you know, there is also some covert vetting that's going on in some of those faraway areas. Because, you know, when you're dealing with such areas, it's not like you're in Kampala. The type of politics that's being handled there is a bit covert compared to what we do here in Kampala. So he may find actually that in some of this, you may find that in some of the areas there's some covert process that's going on, but it's not on the
But he's not
media.
aware.
Yeah.
Is this right for you, keeping information away from your voters? Because I could be worried. He's in Palisa, rather he's in Padel, and if he was in position to know that this was happening within my area, possibly had the confidence there.
No, I'm not saying that that is the only way.
Oh, rubber-dubber style.
Rubber-dubber style, but I'm saying, yeah, you've got it right. I don't even need to expound.
Okay, well, this is a conversation. We're going to be joined by Sarah Birete, the Executive Director of Center for Constitutional Governance. We're going to be looking at these very issues. But before Sarah gets in here, there was a suggestion that can NUP use the approach of the NRM, lining up approach? We all say we have this person and we're going to line up. Why don't take that approach?
First and foremost, we have to comply with our constitution, the constitution of NUP. What does it say? So whatever we do has to be within the mandate, within the constitution, within our constitution. But also, secondly, you have to ask yourselves, if we opted for lining up, would this regime allow us? If Chagulanyi cannot move from his car, from a studio, to go to a market and buy something, or make a stopover on the road to buy something, yeah, before he proceeds home, can this regime allow that? So because we do not want to do trial and error, we opt for, you know, we opt for an avenue that we know can work. And then when we looked at the vetting, we saw that this is a bit more convenient. It will be very hard for the regime to interrupt it. And then we said, yeah, let's go for it for now.
It is morning at NTV. Let's just take a simple, small breather as we have Sarah Bireti join us for this conversation that we can balance the boat. It's morning at NTV. Keep it here.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
Morning at NTV. We're live from Kampala's Training Conference Center. Praise God for the roads in Kampala that are under rehabilitation and reconstruction, some of them. But we finally got Sarah Bireti joining us. He's the Executive Director of the Center for Constitutional Governance. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Andrew, and good morning, viewers.
We have had a conversation here with Shamim Malinde. She's aspiring for Woman Member of Parliament for Kampala from NUP party. And we're talking about the grievances going on in the different parties with regards to the flag bearers. Who gets the card? This is a conversation that has caused a little bit of a storm in a teacup in all parties. What do you make of it from your lenses as someone monitoring the change in governance?
Yeah, we are monitoring elections.
Yes.
We don't know whether the elections will bring the change in the governance.
That is the context.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but basically, political parties are faced with two choices when they are selecting flag bearers. Either participation or selection by the party agreed executives, which is a centralized system.
Okay.
So we have seen scenarios where, for example, NRM has chosen participation through lining up. A lot of political parties, due to financial constraints and other issues, have chosen the centralized system.
The vetting.
Yes, the vetting process. So when you choose the centralized system, you come up with a clear criteria, but you must emphasize transparency.
Okay.
So the challenge that is facing NUP, I think ANT and the FDC, FDC has done a few primaries.
Yep.
DP has done a few primaries as well, but they are also going for the centralized system where there is no contestation. So the challenge that NUP and other parties face is where the members feel that there is no transparency in the process, or fairness in the process. So NUP came up with a criteria. I've taken a look at their form, came up with a criteria. I don't know whether this criteria was communicated to the applicants or contestants in this case. It seems the criteria was not communicated, because if I am subjecting myself to the process, I should know the yardstick under which I am going to be judged. So when you look at in articles coming up in the media, it's as if the contestants were not fully aware of the process of the criteria that NUP was using. So I don't know whether there was a miscommunication. But also, it is not, it is not a done deal, say, participation or centralized system. Then you have everybody home and dry and they are comfortable with the process. NRM, which chose participation, and popular participation at that, has got 463 petitions. Yes. So there is no process that is a sure deal and proof of complaints from contestants.
That is going to work.
Yes.
Shamim Malinde, just to go to what she alluded on earlier, the procedure, was it communicated? And you already told us what informed this procedure. But was it communicated in ample time that people could be baby stepped into it, have their mentor ready, and their qualifications ready?
To NUP, the most important thing is to go by what our constitution says. But again, like we said, we are doing everything in a legal way, but in unusual way.
There is what they call the rubber-dub style.
The rubber-dub style. So we are doing, so the question should be whether what we did is legal or not legal. So,
it could be legal, but was it informed to the participants? Because they have a right to know what process they're going to go through. It is rather unfair for me to come from home and I'm expecting, possibly they're going to line up behind, and they say, no, you're going through a vetting process.
No, the process of vetting was, of course, clearly communicated long way back, immediately after unveiling the EC committee and those people responsible to actually the entire world. So the candidates or the applicants expected the vetting process to come. They knew that they will be screened, they will be vetted, there will be ground check, there will be what. But this is not about what you want as an applicant. It's about what the people want. It's about what subscribes to the values, who subscribes to the values.
Okay.
You know, you may want to be the woman member of parliament for Kampala district, fine. You know, you have the vigor, you have the
Yes.
word, but at the end of the day, do you subscribe to the values? Are you there on ground? Are you going to be
Why
loyal to
me
the
and
struggle?
Salah we are laughing? It's that is the Sodo approach.
Yes.
What does what?
What does the people want?
What does the
what
pe-
do
What
the
does the people doesn't have?
does
So
it
what
have?
do- yeah, so what do people, yes. So it's
So
about
what do
the pe-
people want?
So it's about the people. So that's why we used a covert style to go on ground. We check because we knew that if we make some of these things public, you know, there'll be a lot of, you know, like she said, lack of transparency. There'll be lack of transparency because people would read, you know, the process. you know.
Sarah Birete, when you look at the venom that is coming out from the different losers, be it in the NRM, be it in the NUP party, be it even those who have taken their papers before EC and they've been rejected in one way or the other, there is a lot of anger and wrath. I don't know what could be the trigger of these people. Is it the commercialization of politics that has taken us to this deadlock that it's a do or die?
You know, we need to accept that our parties are all at infancy stages.
Okay.
Even NRM, which has been, as a party, leave alone the movement, because it's one and the same, which has been in power for 35 years, also cannot get their act right. So we have NUP, which is about 2 months old. We have FDC, which is about 15 years plus, and the others. So the development of our multi-party system is not yet grounded on ideology, on values and party doctrine. So once you have this lacking, then the other major lacking issue is a conflict resolution mechanism.
Okay.
Because if you have contestation, for example, we see what is happening in Rushenyi, in Intungamo, where Naume Kabashari announced yesterday that she's going independent, and so many other areas. And we are faced with a situation where we are likely to have about 150 independent MPs in the next parliament.
Wow.
Yeah, because these parties do not have conflict resolution mechanisms inbuilt within their systems.
There is something that is, I should bring it to light. It has happened a lot more with the NRM party after the petitions went there. What they call the kingmakers.
Yes.
Is it affecting our politics? Where people say that if I've not gone through Shamim Malende to bless me, I'm not going to become. My political career entirely depends on people. Is it something affecting our politics in a way?
Yes, we have largely patronage politics. Patronage politics coming in again from the ruling party, where it is too much. We have the issue of kingmakers has killed the women emancipation process in political participation.
Okay.
Because it's the men determining who becomes a woman representative in each district, which is very unfortunate. Because if this is a gazetted seat for a special interest group, again, for women especially, to address historical injustices, and you have the men determining who addresses, you know, who represents the women. But if you come to the general politics, generally, because of patronage, each area has opinion leaders who are not based on values. For example, we have the category of society opinion leaders, like church leaders, like traditional leaders, who are not into politics and money. But because we have high commercialization of politics, so now it is the rich who determine how to go in parliament. We have seen a situation where many children of powerful men in this country are in the race. I think we have about 60 of them.
Yes.
So, and when you look at other people funding politics largely, it's either to protect themselves when they are not there. I want to give an example of Maogola and why you would see Kutesa and the battle.
Yes.
Because one would wonder what Kutesa really wants in parliament, or what Kutesa's daughter wants in parliament.
She wants to
especially,
represent.
yes, if she has no strong connection
To the
with
people.
the people, because she has been staying out of this country. So what is the drive and love with the people? But if you look at the nature...
Maybe reality therapy and said, oh, I belong here finally. I need to represent them.
Yes, but if you look at the nature of our politics, we have other people who are in public service,
Oh, yeah.
but are strongly supporting and funding candidates in several places in this country, either to protect themselves from their omission and commission in office, or to protect the money that they have, because these are powerful people. So what people want, going back to what these kingmakers want is, if I have an issue on table, for example, we've seen Sudil. Sudil, who would be a typical businessman in this country, has been influencing issues in Parliament and Park.
Oh, yeah.
And with corruption allegations. And we have one of the lawyers being dragged in court.
Oh, yes.
Over the same issue. So you would wonder what Sudil's interest would be in politics. But he wants defense when a matter comes up against his omissions or commissions.
He has a buffer.
Who is on table to speak for him. So this is the battle that we are faced with in this campaign, and it will dominate the politics for 2021 elections.
Sarah, Brother Shamim Marinde, the time you've been on the ground vying for, talking to the people, consulting and all that, has monetization of politics affected your conversation on ground? Do you see that people, some of them, their minds are really looking at the money? What are you bringing on the table? Okay, I'm going to vote for you. What is in for me? Do you see that among the electorate?
Yeah, actually, among the electorate sits there. But then the good thing is that the electorates are now, taking now a different side. Because when you go there, they say, your people power, we don't want even a single coin. You don't have money. And we know you people are coming to fight this whole thing of, commercialization of politics. So we don't need a single coin. So what I have realized on ground is that, yes, the voters have been used to commercialization of politics. They expect something on table before they give you their vote. But again, this people power movement or the NUP has also awakened them, and they're saying, yeah, this time we know. We actually are supposed to be the ones giving you the money. So you actually go and then someone gives you a mutwalo and says, Shamim, go use this in your campaign. One gives you 5,000 and you're like, yeah, you just thank God and you go with it.
Okay.
So they are shifting. They are shifting some of them, but there's still a challenge on ground.
Does that come with awareness grids where some areas are possibly mentally and politically exposed as compared to other areas, where we saw some people in the lining up of the NRM, someone just pulling out 5,000 notes like this, and the line shifted.
Yes. Yes, actually, NRM primaries were a grand auction. It was not an election.
I didn't ask your scale.
No, it was just a grand public auction.
Okay.
So our worry as people watching these elections is, will there be a time when we are going to discuss issues for these elections? What are the issues driving the 2021 electoral cycle? They are not yet on table. Is there anybody talking about issues yet?
No, we're still.
We are still dealing with the paper money.
Yeah.
We are dealing with the centralized system of participation.
Yes.
But we are likely to see a highly commercialized election, which is very unfortunate. And my call to the citizens is that really, if money is thrown around, eat it, but vote issues. Okay. Because 5 years is such a long time. Sell your mandate, even if it is for 50,000.
Okay. Well, my colleague Stephen Mbide happens to be in Tinder talking to Mr. Kayanja Idris, vying for position. This early morning, we're talking politics because that's where we are. And Mr. Kanyike Idris, that is in
here on this Monday morning. But for the teachers, happy Wow Teachers Day. And for you who would want to know much more about cancer, October is the cancer month. Back to you, Andrew.
So much as Stephen Mbide giving us insights full on the other side. DP saying that they're still going to run regardless of what the Electoral Commission said. Sarah Birete, coming forward to all this, what you've had and what we have had the discussion, what should be the patent issues these political parties should be highlighting and addressing to make sure that the electorates, we, the people who vote, what we want, gets highlighted?
You know, the key defining factor for this election would have been the failure of government to mitigate the COVID impact on all sectors.
Okay.
I think Uganda is one of the few countries globally with no economic stimulus. for COVID impact on all sectors.
They
We
gave
have
it to us
seen-
under the Uganda Development Bank.
Yes, but who is accessing it under Uganda Development Bank, and who qualifies? After lockdown, especially of private sector, we saw a video going viral of empty stalls
Oh, yeah.
in main price. People are closing business. We saw Makerere, the vice chancellor, has released a ridiculous statement
Oh, yeah.
to say that students have been home for 8 months. They should have saved money, and nobody's going to be allowed back without full paying of tuition. Who does that after lockdown of economy? Is that helping people? How many people are likely to miss their final semesters at Makerere if this policy is not challenged? We have seen schools struggling to reopen. Private sector schools that had closed and even changed into rentals and the rest. Is government helping them to open? And if they don't, where are these students going? Where private schools are unable to get back to business?
So that should be one of the highlights.
This should be the defining factor. COVID impact.
On the citizens.
Even management of COVID, people are told to pay. Who is going to pay money for schools testing to go back? When the parents have run out of jobs, many companies have gone on half salary. The initial report on economy says 3 million Ugandans, released yesterday in Sunday Monitor, 3 million Ugandans have sloped back into poverty. So who has money to move forward, and what is government doing? Putting money at the Uganda Development Bank. Who accesses this money? Again, political patronage sets in. We have seen, the campaign of Myoga, which is now NRM is using as a political party campaign.
It's a national
Where is our national economic stimulus package out of COVID? This is what I expect the opposition to be challenging. And it has immediate impact on people. It would be the biggest factor in elections.
Okay.
But going back again, other issues, we have access to healthcare, which again comes in the management of the pandemic. We have seen, health centers in a pathetic, situation in massacre everywhere. We have people, jobs and the economy again, and then access to quality education. All these merge into the impact of COVID. They have been made worse, but the opposition is not connecting dots.
Okay. Shamim Malende,
Yes.
all this said, what could be your last word as you're winding up this conversation, and what do you pick from this conversation?
I just want to encourage all Ugandans and also remind them that 2021 is near, so they should all organize themselves and ensure that they turn up to vote. But I also want to remind you that the problems of Uganda have been here even before the COVID-19. So as the opposition currently, we are looking at peaceful transition of power, because the Ugandans are saying that all these other problems are coming because leaders do not want to leave power peacefully. If they left power peacefully, it would enable the other leaders to come and bring these other new manifestos so that we can complement on what they have done. So I think, taking from what Sarah has said, I think we need to also add that. But we just have to also say that we are all Ugandans, we should be one, and irrespective of our political affiliations and backgrounds, we should be one and speak one language, and we put Uganda first as a country. But I remind you, I'm coming for the position of Woman Member of Parliament, Kampala District, on the NUP ticket, and I have already got the flag. So
Okay.
I'm the flag bearer.
Well, thank you so much. That is Shamim Malende, and we had Sarah Birete Wappins, with the Executive Director of Center for Constitutional Governance. It's a conversation about politics, and I want to thank those who have been a part of this conversation on Twitter and on Facebook in one way or the other. You have highlighted, and because of time, I cannot tap into there, but because it's a National Teachers Day today, I want to celebrate all the teachers around Uganda, all the teachers who have made us what we are. Given that the National Teachers Policy is currently underway, they're rolling it out, we need to tap into that, amplify our game, and become the better teacher we need. Shortly after us, we are having Mwasuze Mucha with Farid and Nakaziwe Mandru Ichama.